So welcome to your hamstring stretch using the wall as our prop. So we're just going to get our legs up that wall, and we do that by bringing one hip close to the wall, really close, so almost like it's super glued to the wall, and then you'll walk your hands behind you and scoot your legs up the wall. So you have to really lift up the hips and keep moving back until you're up the wall. So we're going to really have a nice passive hamstring stretch, but it's also a very relaxing posture. You can pop a cushion underneath your head if you want to. If your hamstrings are super tight, your knees may be bent, but the more you practice up the wall, the more you're going to passively open up these hamstrings. So just we can relax here for a good 20 minutes if it feels okay to you. I'm just going to show you the stretches, and then you can decide what time length you want to be in these stretches. So this would be your first stretch. And just enjoy. Remember, the knees can be bent, and you can actually be further away from the wall. So if your buttocks have not arrived at the wall, don't be concerned about that. Just scoot your buttocks to the wall to the best of your ability, and then legs up the wall. So they're not going to wake up straight away, these hamstrings. They take time and patience, and we can't force them. So we know that with yoga, we let go of any ego of having to do the things properly. We just do the postures to how our body accepts them and feels, and then we work towards the goals that we want to achieve. So as I said, this one can be 5, 10, 15 minutes. You can pop a little cushion underneath your buttocks if your back feels a little bit vulnerable in this posture. Sometimes when you're new to the posture, it may feel slightly vulnerable. So that was your first stretch. Your second stretch would be to open your legs nice and wide. And now we're into these inner thighs, these adductors. And you want to make sure that you've got no stress in the inner knee, the medial meniscus. Now, you want to have a little bit of stress here, but not too much. So anything painful happening in the inner knee, just bring your legs a bit closer together and then work towards opening the legs. And again, it's another nice long hold posture, as long as you feel comfortable. And again, it can be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, however long it feels. I would say 10 minutes is quite intense, and 5 minutes is quite challenging also. So just have a little timer and see how long the body wants to stay in the posture and how it's responding. Remember, we don't want to have pain. Pain is always a no-go area. The pain is a warning signal to stop what you're doing. But we want to feel a nice opening, a nice stretch, and a nice softening of the shoulders as well. So that would be your second posture. And then bend your knees very slowly and bring the legs back to the center. You're going to move into the hips a little bit. So you're just going to slide feet flat onto the wall, open the knees, and then draw the heels down towards the groin. And this is really, you'll know it's a hip opening posture. It's really, can be quite intense, but you're also still getting into those hamstrings. So if you want to, you can stay here for a while. Again, it's 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, but 10 minutes is really quite excessive. So take your time in what you feel you want to do. And you can always place your own body weight, no forcing, no bouncing, no forcing. Just place your forearms onto the knees, and you'll find that that body weight is more than sufficient to deeply open the groin, the hips, and the hamstrings. So this is your second option, as long as it feels acceptable to you. And then we'll take the hands outside the knees and we'll draw the knees together and we'll take the legs up the wall again. And feel free to stay here with the legs up the wall again if you want to. I'm going to move into the hips a little bit more and the hamstrings. So keep your left leg up the wall and take your right ankle across the left knee. This is more than sufficient for this posture. You may have to move your buttocks away from the wall. You may have to lift your buttocks away from the wall to bring that other foot flat onto the wall. And this is really quite a deep hip opener on this right hip. You're also still into the hamstrings. And the further away from the wall your buttocks are, the more accessible this posture is. And the closer your buttocks are to the wall, the more intense. You're going to draw that left foot down the wall, and you don't want to take that foot too low. You want to have your left knee in line with your left ankle. So once you sort of take the foot down, you lose the posture. So you want to have the left knee in line with the left ankle. And you can stay here for as long as you like. I would suggest you flex this foot, which means you take the foot toes towards the direction of the knee, just so that it protects that knee joint a little bit. And you find your optimum posture, and you're really going to feel this. It's going to really feel in the hamstrings, in the hips. And you're just going to settle the shoulders down. Make sure you're not tensing into the upper body as you stretch into the lower body. And then to release that posture, you just slide that bent leg up the wall, and we come back to long legs up the wall. And again, we can stay here for a short while if we want to. So once you know the postures, you'll decide which time length you want in each posture. And then we'll take that left foot over and we can stay right where we are. That's absolutely fantastic posture. Or we can draw that right foot flat onto the wall, another great posture. Or we can take it all the way down. Flex this foot that's really working into this knee joint. Check you're not in pain in any way. Try and keep that lower back on the mat. So you may have to scoot your buttocks even further back if your back is lifting. And then we settle here. And then we'll release that posture by sliding the right leg up the wall and the left leg up the wall. We're back with the legs up the wall. And again, you can scoot your buttocks back to the wall and stay here for quite some time if you want to. And to release the postures, just bring your feet flat to the wall, roll over to the right side, and we roll up and we come back and we sit against the wall. And the shoulders are back, and we just stay here for a couple of minutes in a quiet meditation posture. If you don't like to have your legs crossed, then feel free to have your legs straight. Have the spine nice and straight, and we just soften and settle just for a few breaths. So there's your stretches up the wall. I do hope you have enjoyed them. You can always do a final twist if you want to, just a nice little twist to just finish your practice. And legs up the wall is probably one of my favorites for hamstrings, because lots of people, when they're trying to open up their hamstrings, they tend to do standing forward bends, which was really going to be pulling into your lumbar area where you get most of your pain in this lower back. So to open up your hamstrings, legs up the wall is a great posture. I do hope you'll do it often. And please subscribe to the channel, and do let me know your comments. I'd really be interested in any of your comments or any of your questions. I'll always answer them. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.